Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts. And so this is Tick Request Live for Sunday, July 13th. I'm just going to do this for an hour. If people join, great. If not, then I might end early. I personally wanted to go over Mara. It is a stock that I hold as well as some calls. And yeah, so I wanted to go over it. I was just busy today, tired. I drank a little bit last night while I was doing some work, and I just felt sluggish all day. So yeah, haven't been as productive, but I did get out that Unity software video, so hopefully that's useful. But I kind of feel like that might be, pulling back a little bit. So yeah, I mean, overnight, I don't know, it's down 1%, something like that. So, I mean, I think this could be happening, but maybe not. But I think Mara, pretty crazy. I had doodled this out that had come down to the yellow line, and like the very next day it did, bounced, and now it's going up. So I could see this getting up to around 21, maybe finding some resistance there. And yeah, I mean, I am holding some calls and I trimmed one of them on Friday just to manage risk. And I have more to trim, which I'll probably do throughout the week. And also with that, kind of learning from the mistakes, I guess, of Unity software and trimming of those calls, I could have, should have sold half of my position at 100% at a 2x so then I'd have no risk. Then I could hold the rest, just to see what happens. And I should have trimmed more a few days ago, but I didn't. But anyways, I mean, maybe it continues up. I don't really know. But yeah, so Mara, I would say that this is likely just, I wish I could just compress that doodle, but I can't. It'd be nice if I could just squeeze it a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's basically what I think is happening. It's going up to 21. And Bitcoin is moving. So Mara is up about 1.5% in the overnight trading. And so I thought, I just go over the contracts that I've been looking at. So July 11th, some of these expired. 3 of these expired. Some of them are coming up. And there's one that I hold. And so I thought maybe we could just look at these kind of like how I went over the Unity software ones. And if nobody joins the stream between now and then, that's totally fine. I'll just end it. But if people do join, then, I'll take some requests. But yeah, don't want to be looking at Unity. I want to be looking at Mara. So the first one here is the $16 call that expired on Friday. And very interesting. I was putting out a video, the Unity video, and it said minus 2 days now because the UTC, the Greenwich Mean Time, GMT, has moved over to the next day. So now it says negative 3 days. So yeah, closed at 19, 16 in the money. So good for whoever was holding these. And so the open interest for this on Friday was just shy of 16,000. Volume traded was 900. So it does make me think that, some of these maybe were exercised. And I got some crap up here. I'm just going to delete some tabs. But I can look up the max pain for Mara. What was it on Friday? 1650. We closed above it, so that's really good. And for this upcoming Friday, it's $16. So I also think, maybe it could be a magnet pulling it down, but I think that's pretty good. And I want to look at the contract over here. So yeah, I mean, there was a good amount of selling, but that, ending with about 16,000 contracts, that's pretty good. Oh, well, let's round it down to 15,000. But, selling towards the end, kind of makes sense. People taking profits. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is great. I like it. Now let's look at the $17 strike. There was also some selling the past few days, but the open interest at the start of Friday was 24,000 contracts. About 2,671 was the volume on Friday. And yeah, those, maybe some closing of contracts, but still closing the week in the money, $17 in the money. So I think that's a really good thing for Mara. And then we also have the $12.50 put. And it looks like, yeah, I mean, what happened here? I mean, I think that there was probably some indication, let's go back the past 14 days, that there were some cash secured puts being sold. So these, almost 14,000 contracts opened on the 3rd. Ooh, actually, no, that's not what I'm thinking. On the 2nd, got these spikes, and also on the 27th of June. So, yeah, on the 2nd, had a good amount of volume that resulted in the number of contracts going down. On the 27th, good amount of volume resulted in the number of contracts going up. And, I could imagine those were selling cash secured puts and they expired out of the money. So what we can see, I mean, I'll do it for the smaller candle just to be a little conservative. But, the average fill for that premium was 1 cent. That's not really that exciting. Over here, 1 cent again. And yeah, so selling cash secured puts would mean you'd multiply. It's like $9,000. You don't really need to do math because 9,300 candle volume with the average fill of 1 cent. 1 cent times 100 for 100 shares per contract is 1 times 9,300. It's the same. So collecting $9,000 in premium. And actually, this is kind of an intriguing strategy thinking about it because, on July 2nd, let's look at the chart. On July 2nd, you see this big move up. And then, if you sell a bunch of puts, cash secured puts. So, is that selling puts? No, that's selling to open cash secured puts. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I just find that to be interesting because you just make $9,000. And at that time, I mean, what was the low for the 2nd? The low is 15. So it's like, there's no way those are closing in the money. So you just sell a bunch, but I mean, then you need to have the capital to secure those puts. And so that would be, let's do some math for that. Got the calculator. So 9,300. The strike is $12.50. And so you would need to have about $116,000 in order to make that 9,300. So yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting. Then this coming week, let's see what's going on with these. These are we can just go. Also, this is the $15 strike call that expires this coming Friday on the 18th. And the open interest is, okay, so the open interest on Thursday was 52,500. And then it dropped down to like 3,000. Only a volume of 448 on Friday. And so, big selling here. I mean, maybe it's just somebody taking profits. So maybe actually if we look back, we could see maybe when that order was placed. Okay, so this was on June 17th. And so I'm just going to scroll down here to look at June 17th. Okay, so open interest was about 4,000 and then it bumped up to 50,000. Okay, so that's interesting. So that looks like it was probably buying of calls. And then, there was just some selling. So maybe this is just some risk management in case it comes back. Kind of like what I was talking about with Unity, in that I should have sold half my position at, break even, and then I just, hang on to the rest. So I should have done that, and you always got to be taking notes, learning. This is a learning process. And so what we can see here is that candle volume 48,552, and the average fill was 118. That's around a candle premium of 5.75 million. Okay, 5.75 million. And then over here, and that's 48,000 shares or 48,000 contracts. And then over here, dang, candle volume 49, over here 48. Pretty similar size, but this is candle premium of 5.7 million over here, candle premium of 18 million. So I don't blame them if they took some profits on that. So that kind of makes sense, Don't want to risk it, and maybe of this 49,000, maybe they still have some. Maybe they're just taking profits, though. I don't know. So that's interesting. And then over here, the $19 call that expires this coming Friday. Lots of activity like the past couple weeks, past like 7 days. Let's see, do we get 2 blue candles? Yep, 2. It's the past 7 trading days. And so this looks like, I don't necessarily want to get too deep into the interpretations and stuff. So yeah, I mean, this is going up, $19 call. It's currently in the money, but that might change. So the open interest is 16,600. There was about 7,600 volume traded on Friday. So this will be an interesting one to follow up with tomorrow to see if those contracts were opened or closed. Yeah. So that's really interesting. And actually, since I've gone over the ones that expired on Friday, I'm just going to close them so I don't have so much up here. And then also I'm going to do the same thing for the Unity ones that I've already gone over in that video that I made. Lots of them. Wow. So, yep, this list is now a little less overwhelming. Okay, and so I've done the 15, the 19. It's going to be very interesting to see if the open interest is going up still. 16,000 here for the 19 strike. For the 15 strike, somebody just took a bunch of profit. I don't blame them. It's fine. Manage the risk. That's a good thing. A $15.50 put. This one, it's got an open interest of 17,000. On Thursday, it looks like there were some buys of it potentially. So I think this is a gamble, personally. This is $127,000. This candle premium here. And that's a candle volume of 9,000. We saw a volume on Friday of 13, and it go up by about 12,500. So, yeah, I mean, I guess some people are betting on it going down, or maybe they're cash secured puts. I don't know, like cash secured puts. I don't think so, because I mean, price Cash secured puts. Why would you do that? The premium's down. You'd want to do a cash secured put when the premium's up. And yeah, so I feel like people may be buying some puts. Huh. Interesting. I mean, yeah, I could see it, people thinking that this is going to top, but up 1.5%. I'm just going to, curiosity, what's the Bitcoin price? Ah, dang it. Why? I didn't want that one. BTC USD. 119, as Ryan Cohen said, 119. Hopefully GameStop was not buying at 119. They should have been buying at the $100,000 dip. But yeah, so the next contract is one that expires in September on the 19th. That is the $18 call. While this might look like, I can just go over the past couple days. While this might look like selling because it's red, for this call, $18 call, in the money call, was it in the money on Thursday? It may not have been because the low was $17.95, but the close was 19 on Thursday. Yeah, so totally reasonable to think that it was in the money when this was purchased. And why do I say purchased? Because what was the volume traded on Thursday? Around 48,000. And this one candle right here represents 46,705 contracts. That's pretty much all the volume for the day. And what we saw was an increase of 42,000 in that open interest, going from 11,666. Maybe that's a bad omen. I don't know. But then getting away from that bad omen, going to 54,004 contracts open interest on Friday. And so this does look like it was bought. And so that's a bullish bet in my view. I don't think one would be selling. I guess you could sell covered calls up here because the premium, if we look at this past 30 days, the premium's up. So, I could see somebody wanting to sell some covered calls here after it's gone up, because then it's be like they'd be saying they're bearish. So maybe those are covered calls being sold. Maybe this is a sign that it could be going down. So, yeah, because, actually, if you look at the data over here, we can see that the number of calls, let's see, I'll just do this on this 2 days. This corresponds with a drop in call premium. Net call premium came down from around $380,000 and then came down to around 4.5 million. This candle represents, candle premium 13.5 million. So that's actually pretty interesting. But we do see that the volume came down. This came down. So maybe that's something going on. I'm going to just search over here, not Luminar. I am going to search for, I'm actually just going to clear the search. And then I will search for Mara. And I'm going to select the time range of July 10th. So that is set. And what was I looking at over here? This candle premium, 13 million. So I'm going to filter it by 1 million. It's behind Ed, but if I scroll up, you can see that premium up there. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it makes 1 million. And we can see that corresponding with this candle, which was around 2:40 in the afternoon, 2:48. These are 10-minute candles. Let's make it a 5-minute candle. 2:45. Okay, so 2:45 to 2:50. That would be this one. That looks like, calls, the bid. What was I looking at, though? This is the $18 There's also the $15. I think I might have actually done some analysis on this on X. So let me go to my profile and search Mara. The latest, I think I mentioned that in the ticker request live. And so this was on July 11th. Okay, so yeah, it looks like the $15 Mara call that expires next week. I've already talked about that over here. Yeah, expires next week. Had a 21,000, whatever drop in open interest, which one would think is bearish. However, so I mean, that's like, I'm talking about it over here. It's like if I look at that $15 call, that's the one. I'm going to make them 10-minute candles again, just a little bit. I'll do 15. Why not make them really nice and big so we can see them easily? But I guess I got to go back 14 days. No, maybe I got to go back 30. Yes. Okay, so here we see this. I feel like it's totally cool to be taking profits there, but maybe it looks like they were rolling. It looks like the $15 call that expires next week had, 21,000 drop in open interest. So we can see that there, which one would think is bearish. However, the $18 call that expires, it's also some just healthy profit taken. The $18 call that expires. Yeah, so I mean, it looks like, I wish I could just do 14 days, but I got to do 30. It actually looks like, they turned almost $6 million into almost $19 million and then rolled that into this other contract for $14 million. Yeah, so I mean that's like a pretty nice trade. So I might actually add to that tweet and say, I'm just gonna quote it. It actually looks like the 15 Mara call that expires next week was likely profit taking from an earlier purchase on June 17th. On June 17th, turning approximately 5.75 million, turning 5.75 million into approximately 18.9 million. 18.9 million, and then rolling. They're all approximate. They're all approximate. So I'll just post this up here. And then I'll take a little screenshot. I'll include some of that data down there. Just going to copy that to the clipboard. And then rolling is it 14 million? And then rolling. Oh, actually. I don't want to save that image. I'm just going to include the data. Ooh, I need to highlight that though. I just want to include the data, some of the data from below. I feel like it might be useful. Just going to save it to the clipboard before it saves it to my desktop. And then rolling 14 million of that profit into the 18 calls expiring in September. So yeah, I'd say that's so yeah, just to emphasize it, separate it. So yeah, I'd say that's pretty effing bullish. I feel like that's a quote. So yeah, I'd say, like, I think it's like Keanu Reeves saying, yeah, I'm gonna need to look up a GIF for it. There's the other one, and let's look up a GIF. Let's see, John Wick is what I'm thinking. I actually like there's this thing where it's like, actually this is it. Where it like just seems like it's a little cool hand trick. But wait, why didn't that go? Okay, it's over here. Yep, let's do it. but that's actually like a technique. I'm not a gun person or anything, but that's like a technique for checking to make sure like there's a bullet in the chamber or something. I don't know. So it doesn't just necessarily look fancy, it's also like badass. So yeah. So let's do this. Huh. Yeah. Cool. So posted that. So hopefully that's helpful for people. And then if I go to the most recent Mara one, that's this. Locked and loaded. So I'm excited about that. I think, yeah, I mean, I'm going to be trimming to manage risk. But I think Mara's going to be going higher. Oh, look at this. And Bitcoin has tested. Let's see. Let's open up TradingView just to get a better read on the numbers. Aave's that's not. I was thinking XLM has been ripping faces off, and actually maybe I'll look at that in a second. But I just want to look up the Bitcoin US dollar Coinbase. That's where I got all my crap on here, and look at this. The high 119.98452, so not quite 120. Excuse me. And let's just look up XLM real quick. This is Stellar Lumens. One thing that I'm kind of curious to do, I might just hide my drawings for this for a second. Look at that. This is what I'm holding. And I just kind of realized, like, I was just looking at this, like, trying to see, like, well, how much has it gone up over the past month? It's up 115%, basically. But I was just trying to think, like, where might this be going to, And so one way, I could do a Fibonacci extension, but I could also just go from, like, here to here, make that line white, and then move it to like the lows from over here. Let's just do like, those big time lows. And so that would be getting to like 75 cents. And that would also make sense with what's over here. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to have to draw that during Crypto Corner Sat Stacker next week, but I don't like to add stuff when I'm not recording those videos, just because I like to keep it all simple, keep it all straight. And Yeah, so I mean, I think Mara's looking good, but I was talking about contracts, man. I'm getting sidetracked. Um, oh, hey, Chestat, what's up? Bitcoin is almost at 120K. Yeah, I'm stoked about it. I've got I'll just let you know how many contracts I have, and that's the next one I'm going to go over. And this is not to say that I'm like I'm not trying to be too, basically because I bought a contract back in like January because I was holding one that I think was going to expire in April, and I recognized this is going to zero, so I sold it at a loss, and then bought one contract for $250, the $50 strike over here that expires in January. And then I just been averaging down, and I am proud of myself when it was around 30. So the yellow line here is right around 30 cents. I was adding there. I had multiple buys down there, so I'm proud of myself for that, because sometimes it's like, well, I'll just wait for it to go a little bit lower. But I kind of recognize that, I think that it could be forming a bottom. And so I was adding more there. And so I now have 21 of these contracts, and at my average price is 71 cents. And the high fill on Friday was 85 cents. I had a fill at 80 cents. Nothing too crazy. So that took my 22 contracts down to 21. And yeah, and like, let's just, out of curiosity, how much am I risking on this? Which for me, for contracts, this is a lot of money. Everybody's different. But I've kind of just recognized that I have conviction in this. And that's from hearing Fred Thiel, the CEO, speak about Mara, recognizing that, really Bitcoin mining isn't just simply a Bitcoin mining. It's really like a data and AI, a lot of overlap there because of all of the energy that they need to mine Bitcoin. They end up being like effectively data centers, something like that. But let's see. So $71 per contract at 71 cents times 100. And that's my average. And that times, and then and then times 21. So yeah, I mean, it's over $1,000. And, my goal with this is to make at least 250, because I think that's what I lost with the previous contract. And, it looks like I have a limit sell placed at 86, which I have that placed because I think that's some 10 or 20% above my average. Well, let's do that math too. So 71 times 1.2, about round up to 86. So that'd be 20%. So I have a trim there. And then I'm selling the majority 16 at 114. And so, which is insane. I would be so stoked. Like I'm getting better at contracts because I look at unusual whales. I understand, getting better at reading the data. And so like 114, I should just do it as multiplied by 100. $114 times 16 contracts. That's, I would have made some money with that. And then I'd still have some more contracts to see if it goes higher, or just, take more profits at or above that level. So I feel I'm proud of myself for the way that I've been learning to manage contracts, being patient, not getting so distracted by all of the stocks that I'd like to hold because I'm in love with the companies or something, but just kind of focusing in on a handful of positions, and just like, buying if things look bullish. So yeah, I mean, this is currently, looks like if I look at this for just the one day, we can see that the closing average fill was 80 cents. That's above my average of 71 cents. So feeling good about this. I mean, maybe there could be a rug pull, so I don't know. Do I think Mara is going to be above $50 by January 16th? I think that's a good question to ask. To be honest, I think it could be, because we're in the fourth year of the bull cycle, the year after the halving. And the last time that happened in 2021, Mara hit a high of $83.45. And what year was that in? November of 2021. So 4 years plus that is 2025. So maybe November of 2021. I could definitely see Mara at 83. So these contracts that I hold, I do want to be taking profits just so I have cash on the side so I can sleep easy at night, whatnot. But I still want to hold some just to see, 2x, 3x, and beyond, see what happens. So I think that could very reasonably happen. And let's actually look at the premium data here. I'm just going to go back 90 days to see. I mean, it's like 80 cents. The highest it's been was like 109. And so, yeah, I mean, I think we're starting to get like Bitcoin's hitting new all-time highs. So, I mean, yeah, I want to go back to Bitcoin. I'm sorry, XLM. You've been a good performer, but Bitcoin, I don't know what this is. Spot crypto. What is that? Featured. I don't know what that is. Still, haven't yet hit 120. And also, though, very interesting is this created a CME gap. So from approximately the close on, approximate, but the close on Friday, it's around 118, 117, somewhere around there. There's a CME gap. And so that could be getting filled. So I would not be surprised if Bitcoin does dip down to around 118 come Monday or Tuesday. But maybe that's just to fill the CME gap and then it does continue higher. So yeah, I mean, I'm stoked about Bitcoin, crypto, and I feel like a lot of people are talking about, oh, well, things are changed now because it's more Wall Street driven. So there's not going to be the same type of alt seasons that we've seen in the past. And I feel like that's, from a relative perspective, like relative to Bitcoin, yeah, that's probably true. But what I could see coming from a Wall Street side of things is that if Bitcoin massively outperforms ETH, which is kind of what we've seen, and ETH starts taking off, profits from the Bitcoin ETF could roll into the Ethereum ETF, and that could be like a little ETF alt season. And then, there are still degens. Degens are going to degen. And so any profits from Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of the ETFs could then be rolling into like Fartcoin or something like that. So I think that there's still going to be alt seasons, but relative to Bitcoin and anything that has an ETF, they might be muted, but there still could be, multi-baggers there. So, but at the same time, I think it's good to manage risk because maybe this is different and not in the good way. So, yeah, I'm just going to pull up this contract. Yes, I mean, this is the one that I hold. And, I think that it could be closing in the money, to be honest. So I feel like this is a better contract to hold than the Unity software one. And yeah, those are all the contracts it looks like that I wanted to go over for Mara. So I will come back over to this and see what Chestat is saying. That's great. If you have time, could I look at Oscar? Yeah, I will definitely do that right now. And so you posted that about 6 minutes ago. So sorry about the delay, but I imagine you're still here. Oscar, yeah, I think you had requested this a couple weeks ago, the last time I streamed. I've just been, to be honest, I've been overwhelmed with stuff. I can share a photo. I'll share it to myself, and then I can just pull it up. Okay, so we got the little airdrop. And so, I mean, if you guys are curious, I've just been overwhelmed with this stuff because I've got a house. It's an older house. I've been working on it. And yeah, I'm just like replacing the trim around the windows because there's some rot on the sills. But then it becomes like, it's just like a massive amount of rot. This is the worst window that I've had so far. And like this 2x4, which is actually more than a 2x4, it's like a little bit wider. But this is just like I wasn't rubbing my finger on it, but like you using like the claw of the hammer, not putting any force. You just peel it off. Just smells disgusting, like it's dirt, like a fungus or something, like mushrooms. And yeah, so what I was doing today is ripping out, the bad wood here. And I think, and I just kind of let it air out today. I think this is older wood. I did chisel away some of the rot here, remove this wood. And so I've got to, just be doing this. And I know what this means. So if you're aware of what that means, I know what it means. I'm being as safe as I can with this stuff. But yeah, old houses, I'm appreciating that. Like I have the skills to do this kind of work, but it's so much work while working a job, while trying to learn trading and trying to make videos and stuff. So much. But yeah, that's just, I've been making fewer videos lately because I've been working on this crap and I'm not going to be able to get as much done as I'd like before winter comes around. So yeah, sorry for that tangent, but that's why I've been putting out fewer videos and not streaming as much because it's like part of the videos, hopefully, it doesn't matter how long the video is, whether it's really short or really long. They've been more long lately. Hopefully it gives some added perspective, some useful takes on things. And so yeah, Oscar, let's see. So it looks like the last time I talked about this, I was suggesting from this Fibonacci extension that it could be going higher, I guess, by these light blue lines. And then I also drew these. And so for these light blue ones, I don't think that those are going to be useful because it did already go up. And we could actually maybe just add the 3618. It did go up to there. Wow, man. Even went up to the 4236. I never used that extension. That's crazy. And so, yeah, I mean, from this, we can just omit, well, I'll leave the 3618 because it's like you get one wick up to something. It's like the idea of selling the top or buying the exact bottom. I think that there's some misconceptions with that. And so I'll just kind of talk about my interpretation of those misconceptions. The top here, the high on June 20th was $22.78. But this level was at $22.60. So, that's not selling the top. If you would have mapped this out, you could have sold at $22.60. I imagine the order would have gotten filled because it did go 18 cents above that level. But really, the reality is you can't sell the top because you only get a pierce of that level. It's probably pretty quick. And then it pulls back this consolidation around the 3618. You've got multiple days intersecting with that line. And so that would be like the level, in my view, to feasibly be able to sell at. Because if you miss the opportunity on the 20th to sell, you would not have another opportunity to sell at 22.60. But you would have more opportunities to sell at 21.13, like the very next day, even with this move down. There were 4 more days that gave you the opportunity to sell at 21.13. So I think that's, the 4236 is getting ahead of yourself. The 3618, that's feasible. And also, I mean, the 42, I just out of curiosity, I'm going to adjust this to 4618, just out of curiosity. Oh, that's why. 42. Wait a second. What did I have that at? 4236. Okay, so that's why it's not. I was thinking, oh, well, that's not the. It's just going a little bit extra. So, Yeah, because I was thinking, oh, it's not the 4618, so I should adjust it to that. And it's like, well, I'd be pushing it even higher. So, um, and so, yeah, okay, anyways, there's this retracement here. What we can do now, though, which maybe is not so great, is because we have the low here and we did go to a higher high. I mean, we can leave this up here as is, but I think it might be good to add the 786. That would be corresponding with like the gap fill down there. So I actually probably don't even need to include the 786 in that retracement. But what I can do then is do another retracement going from the low over here. 1357 hit on June 2nd, and then going up here to the high of 2278 that was hit on June 20th. So maybe I want to add the 786. And so well below that already. And I'm going to make this, I guess I'll make it yellow. And so those levels, they're not useful. We've already broken below them. So what might be a better way to draw this is extending it to over here down to that low of 1120 hit on April 21st. And so this, I can omit all of those levels other than the 786. And then we do have like a little bit of confluence also with the bottoms over here. So I think that, let's see, what are these levels here? 1390, 1368, 1350, let's say 1350 to 14. And the low on Friday was 1413. That could be a bottom, but it could also, have to form the bottom. So maybe it takes some time and goes like that. If it does go up, if it does do something like that, I mean, it could just keep going down lower though. And so if one was to be bullish on this, I'm not in it, don't plan on entering it. I would want to see like whether I wait for it and buy, like hypothetically, like I said, I'm not planning on getting into it. But like if I were to wait for 14 or 1369, let's say, just above the 786 there, that's in yellow, above it by 1 penny, having fun with it. If I were to wait for 1369, maybe I'd want to assess to see how it's going. But also, I mean, this gap up, it doesn't have to get filled. They don't all have to get filled. So 1307 is that gap. So yeah, I mean, really from like 14 to 13, I'd really want to be paying close attention to it to see if it seems like it's starting to bottom. And, does this have options data? It does have options data. So let's actually look over at Unusual Whales to see if there's anything going on with this suggesting. What's up, Ricardo? I see your comment there just from a few minutes ago. Greetings to you as well. If you do have a request, I'd be happy to go over it. I'm just kind of, I'm trying to spend more time with Unusual Whales, so quality, not quantity type of stuff. And yeah, I mean, I love Unusual Whales. I've been getting better at learning it, trying to understand it. OSCR, so let's look that up. And actually, I'm probably just going to no filters, OSCR. And so we can have all this stuff. And I might set the premium filter to be 100,000. So there's 2 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 100,000. And so we can see some orders that, premium over here. There were some $1 million orders. So maybe I'll just add a 0 to that. And so there's no time range. And so these are the only $1 million orders. It looks like they're all puts. So maybe that's, not a good sign. But it's possible. Like we can look at this one, the one that expires this coming Friday, the $17 put. Seems like it's probably going to close in the money. Maybe it's somebody taking profit though. From what am I thinking about? Oh, I actually want this to be 2 days because What was I looking at? What was I looking at? Over here. Wait, no. What was I looking at? Oh, okay, yeah, I was looking at the flow. So I can just click over here, go back to this one. In this order, $2.3 million was on the 7th. The 7th was the last one, so not 2 days. I'm an idiot. I think I can go back 7 days and see it over here. That was the 7th. The average fill was $5.77, $5.77, $2.3 million. And just scrolling down here, we can see that open interest was 500. It increased to 4.5 thousand. Increased by about 4,000. And it's still up more than 4,000, approaching 5,000. And this, yeah, I think that this makes me think it's probably still got some more room to go down. Just from this contract, because this was millions of dollars. Open interest is still up. I would think that because, while it might have been a top, it did pull back a little bit, the premium in yellow here, but it's now higher. So the premium here, the average fill was 577. The average on Friday was 629. So that's up, turning 2.3 million. So that's like 4,000 contracts. And so if I pull up the calculator, we can do, 4,000 contracts times that average fill on Friday times 100. So just 629. So they've turned, well, actually, does that make sense? Because their average fill over here, 2.3 million. Now it's 2.5 million. So they made like $200,000. So that's pretty good. I mean, that's more than I made in the past 5 days, whatever this is. So, yeah. So, and then looking at this bid, these are all the same expiration. So that's, wait, this is June 18th. What the hell? 2026. 2026. It's next year. I was like, that does not make sense. The order was even after the expiration. Gotta look at that year. Okay, and then so ones that, yeah, so, I mean, that makes me think it's kind of bearish. I mean, maybe they sold some. Dang it. Let's look at the net call premium over here. I've got to go back 7 days to view that, I believe. And so that was on the 7th. Over here. It was the 7th. This is interesting. Yeah, so, I mean, for this order, 2.3 million on the 7th, the net put premium, actually net call premium went up by 1.18 million on that day. So I wonder, I mean, these could be cash secured puts. I really don't know. Maybe what we want to do is look at some high resolution data. So let's go back, looking at just 1 day, but let's go back in time to the 7th. Alert, volume has exceeded open interest, volume at 4,008 when open interest was 505. And so on that day, we can see it over here. There wasn't really too much going on here. So there's probably something that balanced it. And so I'm wondering, this says the trade was to open, whether it's to buy to open or sell to open, as determined by size of trade. That's because the volume was larger than the open interest. And so only trades that can be positively identified as being to open will be marked as such trades. Trades missing can also be opened. So opened or closed, whatever. But the lock means that they're open. And so it could be cash secured put. So, I mean, if we look at this and just look the past 30 days, you know, the premium is down from up here. And so people, I mean, I would think that, yeah, I would think that it's likely buying puts is my impression, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I need to think about that more. And then looking at these other ones, these expire. So let's see. The biggest one is $4 million for this contract, the $18 put that expires 2 Fridays from now, so on July 25th. The $18 put, this was from, when was that order? I need to think about this. The 11th, so this was on Friday. And so this is pretty crazy. Oh, wait, no, I'm an idiot. The open interest was 15,000. The volume was 15,000. So this will actually be an interesting one that I would be curious. I mean, I probably won't just because I don't follow Oscar, but I would think it'd be very telling. Actually, Ed's in the way, so maybe I should get him out of the way. Sorry about that. But you know, see this big candle here. Open interest 15,000, volume 15,000. So I'd be really curious to see how that open interest changed. If it went up to like 30,000 or just thousands above 15,000. What's the current price? 14? Yeah, I mean, so these are in the money puts. I mean, somebody could be taking profits on them. And so if the open interest goes down substantially, when was this order placed? This was one order from July 1st. So, you know, open interest was 157, and then it goes up to 15,000, and then there's a 15,000 volume order here. That is lower than the open interest. So this could be selling. So this could be suggesting that Oscar might be bottoming. Oh, yeah, and actually from the first. So let's look at this. Going back to the first, this was the 11th. So I think I can go back 7. Nope, I need to go back. Probably like 8 days or something. Yeah, look at that. That's so unfortunate. 7 days. We got this little thing here. I just need one more day, man. Come on. But I got to go 14. I'll make those candles. They're as big as they can get, 30 minutes. And so what we see over here, this is pretty cool. What we see, I might actually do a post on X about this. Very interesting. We see about 15,000. I'm just going to take a screenshot and walk you guys through my thought process. So, and maybe this is helpful. Maybe this is not. Okay, so and actually what I want to do is include the July 1st down there. And so what we can see here, just copying that over to my clipboard. And I'm just going to come over here to do a new post. And so I'm just going to write about this. So, a pretty interesting put was potentially, lots of alliteration there, PPP. Pretty interesting put was potentially closed. A pretty interesting Oscar put was potentially closed on Friday, 7-Eleven, waiting for OI data Monday morning. Which could be the sell of contracts that were initially, and actually I didn't have it, I wasn't hovering over it, so I actually need to retake that screenshot, were initially purchased on 7/1. So I'm going to delete that and then come back to here. Ah, crap, no, not come back to here. Come back to here. And so I want to hover over here. I want to hover over this candle. So we got the numbers on it. And then now I can take the screenshot. There we go. Copy that to clipboard. Damn it. And post that over here. On July 1st, let's see, the highlighted candle shows a volume of 15K contracts at a fill of, let's see, 59 cents, representing a premium of, candle premium, what is that? Damn it. Candle premium, looking at the wrong one again. Candle premium is around 900,000 of 900,000. On July 11, the highlighted candle, second screenshot, whoops, shows a volume of and actually I want to scroll this down so we can see that. And so yeah, if you guys are on X, if you are curious to get my follow-up, I'll probably post it there, and or you can remind me to post a follow-up in case I forget. But yeah, so I got that second screenshot, and so, gosh, that shows a volume of about 15,000 of 15K contracts at a fill of 326. That's insane. 326, representing a premium of a lot of money, millions, I believe. Nearly $5 million of nearly 5 million. And then I'll do mind blown. Did somebody just 5x 900K into 5 million? And then I will end this with, could be a bottoming signal, or it could just be taking risk off the table before expiration on $7.25, along with taking some massive profits. Very nice. Clap. So that's pretty cool. And so I got that there so people can see that. Very neat, very neat. And so yeah, coming back to this, sorry it's taking so long. Ricardo, I went on a big tangent there, but hopefully that's interesting. Could I please take a glance at TTD? Yes, I most definitely will. And then since I have been streaming for more than an hour, this might be the last one that I go over. But yeah, the trade desk. So let's look at that. I imagine they've got options, so we can look at some unusual whales data. And yeah, so and I guess I should maybe close out with Chestad regarding Oscar. I'd be very interested to see what the open interest is tomorrow. I think it could be suggesting that the bottom is near, so there could be some hope there with those puts. But yeah, so TTD. Let's see. I haven't drawn anything on this. I would say that I could do a retracement suggesting levels that could be acting as resistance to the upside. So let's just do like a 50%. It's still below that, but did kind of get rejected from that 382. I mean, I'll just leave the 50% up there. And looking at this, I mean, it's lower highs corresponding with lower highs in the RSI, so there's no bearish divergence. This is higher lows, also higher lows in the RSI, so no bullish divergence. We do see that there was a good amount of volume when it was going up here on this pullback. And, you know, the thing I guess that's kind of maybe a little bit concerning is on this move up, volume hasn't really increased. So I feel like it'd be good to see volume backing the moves up here. That hasn't really happened. So that's maybe a little bit concerning. If we do a Fibonacci retracement from the low here to up here, did pull back to the 382. Around 66, and then bounced. And so really, I mean, I think it'd be pretty important to be getting above, closing above the high here, which is $80.55. Also kind of corresponding pretty nicely with that 382. So I need to be seeing some closes above there. And since that's not happening and there's not much volume behind this upside move, I think that it could be a little bit concerning. I mean, but it could also just be in like a longer term consolidation. So what I might do is just do trend channel, and I'm going to start it from here where after it had gapped up, and then just pull it over like that, just to kind of highlight that, you know, maybe this could be like a bull flag, and that, you know, it pulled down to here, then it got rejected from up here, so maybe it could come down to the midpoint around 70 or 71, or maybe it does come back to the base of that channel, which could be around 66, maybe 65. You know, could do something, you know, the best kind of pullback would be to the midpoint and then go higher, and then, you know, find that as support and then go up, so something like that. Or, you know, if it does pull back to the bottom, you know, maybe it could find some support there and then start going up. But it could also break down at that point. So that would be a little bit concerning. But yeah, I mean, I'd say let's look over at the unusual whales data. So I'm just going to exit this Oscar one. And so TTD, as you know, so this is $1 million filter. And so this has been having some $1 million buys or sells, lots of puts. So I don't know if this is bullish or bearish. Some that stand out, multi-million dollar, these 718, 105 puts. So these are in the money puts. So let's see, this one at over $12 million. This one over 13 million. These are all short dated, expiring this Friday. And so, yeah, put premium going up, net put premium here by $1.9 million. I might just expand this and we can look at it. Let's just get a bigger picture. 30 days. Yeah, so I mean, kind of contrasting to what's happening now. Over here, we see that net put premium coming down on June 17th. Came down by more than $7 million. So negative $7.33 million on June 17th. What did the stock price do, which is marked in yellow? That was the bottom. It went up. And so that's when it was at the bottom, we saw put premium going down, suggesting selling of puts. People are bullish. And now we're seeing, I mean, it's kind of opposite if we just look at the past 2 days, wax and wanes. And so this looks like net put premium came down by almost $2 million, whereas net call premium went up by about $1.11 million. And we see volume going up. So this could be suggesting, and also the thing that stands out to me, net put premium dropped here, whereas volume went up. So this could be buying of puts, even though the premium came down. Maybe they were just filled at the bid rather than the ask. And if my wording of that is correct, I'm not sure. I get confused with that stuff, but I place the bid order because I want to buy. The seller asks for the price that they want. And so this could be suggesting that this is bearish. And this, we do have the volume down here, but the net put premium's increasing, and we're not really seeing that reflected in the volume, not too much. And so that could be, not so good. Yeah, I mean, I have to say that I'd be a little bit, if I go back 30 days, maybe I just want to look at the chart. I am pretty tired, I must say. I mean, for me, looking at this, what I'd like to see closes above at least 80.55. And so if it goes up, closes above effectively that white line, then that would be like, given more weight on the bull's side of things. And then if it does pull back to retest, it could be finding the top of that channel as support. And so if it goes up like this, closes up here, multiple days up here, 2 days, just one close above there, and then it pulls down. And then because of that close above that line, that would give me a little bit more confidence that would find that as support and then could go higher. But if we don't see a close up above that prior high, this could be kind of like doing what I was suggesting, either coming down to the middle of that channel and going up, or continuing down to the bottom of that channel before finding support and either bouncing, which could just go back to the midpoint, who knows, or it could, break below, get rejected, and continue down. So all of those options are kind of on the table. And so at this point for me, I would say I would expect it to at least pull back to around 71, because it seems like there's a lot of kind of more bearish sentiment with the puts. It seems just so much put activity. And it does seem like it's, at the top of this range. And, it did look like it was good here, but then it pulled back and closed the week lower. So that makes me think that at least coming down to around 70 to 71. And if that there's consolidation there, that could be a bear flag. And then this comes down to around 66 or so. But if it does, come down here and then bounces V shape, that could be really good. But if it doesn't bounce, if it consolidates, then it's more likely to go lower. Yeah, so I would say I would expect this to go down to 70 to 71 currently. But still, all of this is bigger picture bullish, I would say, but it's just at the top of the range right now. It's effectively at resistance, also corresponding with, while it's not at the high here, it's at the highs here where it was rejected previously. And so I would think that, it's probably going to be pulling back some, is my expectation. And also with this move to test the top of this range, volume's not really that high. Volume over here, the upside move, very high. And then volume when getting, to where it was at just recently, volume was, I guess about similar, but volume was higher on the sell-off here than over here. So that, I feel like this is probably coming back to the low 70s is what I would expect. So, I hope that's helpful. It's, probably not what you're looking for, but I think it's just, and this is also me being like overly cautious probably too. But yeah, I would say, I guess I'd rank this. I'll try to like do a little bit of a ranking, what I think is most likely. So what I think is most likely is probably this one, which would be let's see, kind of like, I guess I'm not going to do this as most likely, but this is kind of like at least pulling back to here is most likely. If we get some hope, then it's like that bounce there, V-shaped recovery. What is ideal, but I don't think is happening, is this green one. And then down here, this breakdown, that's like the bad scenario. And yeah, so what do I think is most likely? I think pulling back to this is most likely, and then from there, we'll have to see, is it a V-shaped recovery? Or is it consolidation? But then, then there could be some potentially nice dip buying opportunities at 66, revisit these levels here, get another opportunity to add there at that price before it's going higher. So yeah, hopefully that is helpful. And yeah, so I think I might end the stream there. Ricardo, hopefully you enjoyed that. Chestad, hopefully you'll like my analysis of Oscar. And yeah, my eyes are closing. It's after 11:21 Eastern, which is an hour earlier for my time, but I'm tired. So yeah, I'm going to close this down. I'm going to bring Ed back so he can say goodbye to all of you guys. But yeah, as always, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. But I don't tend to stream and do videos as much as I used to. I would encourage checking out, dgen_Ann on X, and I can pull up my profile over here. Which I need to update my little banner there. But yeah, this is me, dgen_Ann, because dgen_Ed is taken. And let's see, got some 3 likes on that, so that's pretty cool. So thank you for the request of that one, Chestad. And yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Hopefully you guys have a great start to the week. And ooh, maybe I actually want to, has Bitcoin hit a high? Oh my gosh, look at this. I'm just going to take a screenshot of that. Oh, and actually, I don't need my doodles for this. Crap, man. I don't need these pop-ups either. I do need to create an account, though. Or not create an account, fund an account. So let's see. Exactly. Bitcoin hit exactly. Oops. 120K. And so I might do star eyes for that. There we go. And actually, maybe what I want to do is edit this. Can I include some nudity? No, there's none of that. I was hoping I could just for my phone I can add emojis, but I guess I can't here. Anyways, what's this? Oh, okay. Whatever. So, yeah, I'll see you guys later. Have a great rest of your night and a great start to the week. I think it's going to be an exciting one. So, I hope it's good for you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.